had to get my cards. I had to get the cards. Oh, and I forgot to put the dogs away. Oh, so we may have some barking today and all sorts of things. Hello. Welcome to 5 mistakes many people make when using tarot. So I am super friggin' excited to talk to you about this. I'm going to tell you the 5 mistakes most people make by using tarot, and I'm going to give you tips so that you stop making mistakes using tarot. So first, I want to say hello to people that are here. And if you want to share this video, if you feel that people, it's going to be a very concise training, a very clear training. And if there's somebody that you know that's interested in tarot, but been apprehensive about using it, or they're afraid they don't understand the cards, or they're afraid there's some bad juju on the cards, or whatever their issues are, share this video with them, because I am going to break the myths that are out there, and your mind is going to be blown today. Trust me, it's going to be blown today. So let me give some shout outs. Hi, Gentry. Hi, Patsy. Hi, Patty. I know the dogs. I love the dogs too. Hey, Sandra. Hi, Eunice. It's so good to see you guys here. So I'm super excited to talk about all of this with you. So for those of you who don't know me, because I know that my videos are starting to get spread out there, I'm Marilyn Aloria. I'm going to take from my little notes here. I'm a psychic medium, a teacher, and a channel. Obviously, I know who I am. I'm Marilyn Aloria, psychic medium, teacher, and channeler. And I teach people around the world how to use their psychic gifts and apply them to everyday life, how to make conscious choices that are aligned with your soul so that the life you're dreaming of becomes a reality. You're able to bridge the gap from your dreams in your heart to reality, and they're not an illusion anymore. And that's what I've been doing for over 10 years, besides channeling, and I used to do readings, and now I teach people in my Membership for Your Soul program and other programs that I have. And I've been putting together this class on tarot, and revisiting the material has been absolutely fascinating for me, because I studied tarot way before I started channeling, and I studied tarot after I studied dream work. And all of those types of things that you study is a lot of symbols, and our guides, our inner being, our higher self, whatever you think it is, speaks to us through the symbolic language. So symbolic language can be sound. It could be physical things like flowers. It could be vibration. It could be color. It could be feelings. Everything is a symbolic language, because they don't have our linear language. They don't have it. Who is they? They is beings from other planets, energy, our deceased loved ones. You know, even if they spoke in a certain verbal language that we have here today, their vibration, they work on a different vibratory field, right? So they work through vibration, and the way that we understand what they're saying is through that vibration, and we interpret it. And a lot of times they speak to us through symbols so that we understand what they're saying through the symbolic language, because a lot of our physical language, you know, our words are diluted. So the word love means so many things to different people based on your own life experience. So spirit will speak to us with symbolic language, which is why studying the tarot the way I teach it is incredibly beneficial for you, because you learn how to pull from your own life experiences, and you learn what those symbols mean to you, not to the rest of the world, to you. So I'm gonna do this like in a very concise manner. But before I give tips, thank you, Sandra, for sharing. Yay! April says, ready for your wisdom. Patsy says, I get smells. Yes, that's another way of getting it. These are all gifts. So before I move forward, I do have a special gift for you guys. And the gift is, write the word magic. Magic! Magic, magic, magic. And when you write the word magic, you're going to go into our little beautiful little bot system. I'm looking for the magic card. Watch, it's not in here. There it is. You're going to get a special gift with the Magician card, which is one of the highest cards in the deck. So if you write the word magic below, you will get that incredible gift. So I am just like, I was talking to my membership group yesterday, and we had an incredible Q&A call. And I was talking to my team members yesterday too, as I'm building these classes and getting ready to step out in a much bigger way. I'm also going through some very huge life changes myself. And I'm applying what I teach to my walk. And one of the biggest issues I have with a lot of spiritual teachers out there is they don't walk the talk. So, and I do, and my members in membership know that, because I'm very transparent with them, and I share stories with them, and I teach them through my experiences. And we were talking yesterday about how important, like how this language is, it's never linear. So if a water bottle shows up in a dream, or you just keep seeing it repetitively, it's never just about the water bottle. It's so much more than that. The language in our lives, our life itself, is so multi-layered that you can never look at something just straight on and think that you understand it all. And as our consciousness changes, everything else changes too. So as we grow into more awareness and waking up, or whatever you want to call it, things around us start vibrating differently as well. And there's a different wisdom and understanding with that. So again, I'm going to talk about the 5 common mistakes you guys are making by reading tarot. And I want to tell you a story, and it's a really, really, really important story. And then I'm going to go into the tips, but I just want to check in real quick and see who's here. And again, if you feel that these videos are very helpful for people, I'd love for you to share them. That just makes me happy. Everything makes me happy when you guys are here. I want to say hello to Laura and Katie and Mary Beth and Jean and Julie and Catherine. Hello, Catherine. And the word is magic if you want to get the free PDF, so which is great. Okay. So some of you may know and some of you may not know. I'm having such a hard, I hope let me go on the Facebook page a second, because I'm using a different page. So I'm like, it's looking weird on my Google Chrome. But down below, tell me what you think some of the biggest mistakes are that people make in tarot. Or some of the biggest mistakes you make when making tarot, or also some of the biggest fears you may have. What are the biggest fears that you have about tarot? And okay, I just wanted to make sure everything was cool on the technical end. So I'm going through a huge, huge life change right now, and it's exciting. And I made a big decision to sell my house and to move. And before I tell you that story, I'm going to tell you another story, okay? And this really has to do with the tips. So trust me, I'm leading you somewhere. Many years ago, probably about 8-9 years ago, I was sitting in a room with a very well-known medium, and I was getting a reading with a lot of other people. There was a group of us, and everybody in the reading was like in awe of her gifts. And when she got to me, she didn't know anything about me, and she was like, I feel like you're supposed to do real estate. And I'm like, really? And at that time I was acting and studying psychic work, and real estate definitely was not on my agenda, And she's like, yes, you're supposed to be doing real estate. And I was like, it's weird. A couple of people have said that to me. And she goes, well, if you've heard that a few times, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Well, you can imagine that I walked out of there devastated, because it is not what I wanted to do. And I was like, oh my God. Excuse me, God, I'm on the wrong path. What am I doing? Oh my goodness. She knows better than me, right? Because she's like connected, and what's going on? And I was like freaking out, because here I was on this soul's path that felt good to me. But of course you're questioning it when you're on it sometimes. And I was like, oh no. And I turned around to my friend Ruth, and I was like, am I supposed to do real estate? Like on the brink of tears. And Ruth is like, no, I think this is because you're thinking about buying a house, because she knew what my dreams were. And I was like, oh, yeah, I think that's it too. So I had to reprogram my mind and get her friggin' voice out of my head. But sometimes those voices, this is what I don't like about readings, nag at you. Fast forward 7, 8, 9 years later, wherever it is, I am in the process of selling my house and buying a house. So I'm working with realtors. And I can tell you without a doubt that I friggin' hate real estate. That there is no friggin' way that I would ever do real estate. There is not 1 ounce in me. Now, I have a lot of respect for them, and I've had great realtors around me, and I've had some sucky ones too, but they've been really holding my hands, but I friggin' hate it. And this is my biggest issue with you giving your power away to people who read you. When I teach people how to read, and I have no problems with readings, go to people who empower you in readings. Go to people who say, well, the path you're on right now may be a little bit cloudy, and I'm picking up some real estate energy, and you may need to start looking into it because it's going to lead you into a higher direction. Like when I read people, I didn't let them speak. So I didn't know anything about them, but I gave them possibilities and strength. And 95% of the times when they were allowed to speak, they would say, oh my goodness, That is exactly where I'm headed and want to head. That's what my heart's been telling me to do. And I was aligning with their truth. Now, I always told people before I read them, take what you like and leave the rest. Because frig my ego. My ego is not allowed to be in that reading. Take what you like and leave the rest. So here's tip number 1. And let me know if you relate to this by saying relate. I'm going to scream, but I'm not going to because I don't make the dogs bark. Stop giving your power away. Stop it. Stop it. Now, let me say something. So I'm going through this huge transition, this huge change. And this Sunday, I had a healer come over to my house who I trust. She has no ego. She's a beautiful healer. She worked on me. She worked on my house. She worked on, and I also talked to my guides and told my guides to work through her. I'm okay with that stuff. She was great. It was a great experience, but I don't give my power away to anyone. I allow them to co-create with me. Stop giving your power away. Don't give your power away to the cards. Don't do it. And what do I mean by that? Look at the cards as an extension of yourself. These cards, and I've got to look at my notes, guys, because this is very deep, intricate stuff. And it might not sound it, but to me it is. These cards are here. Funny how I picked the Hermit card. Such a great card. These cards are an extension of your higher wisdom inside of you. They're an extension of you. They're an extension of the infinite wisdom that lives inside of you. Infinite wisdom to me is God. That's what it is. Infinite intelligence. And it helps you to read yourself. So when you pull a card, you want to learn what the card means to you, not what the books say. So I'm going to go into tip number 2. But first, I want to know if you relate to this. So I want to check in and see what's going on. Catherine says relate. Tony says relate. Angela says, I feel like I'm reading the cards wrong, but I'm learning from you and it helps me believe in myself. Great. I'm going to give you some great tools today that are going to tell you, Cindy says relate, Patty, that help you to understand how to read the cards for yourself. Now, of course, I got an incredible class too. And if you go to MarilynAloria.com /tarot, you can read about it. And it's only $97 and it's a 2-month class. The class is epic. Like, we are going to raise the price, but I'm not going to tell you when that's happening yet. So until I announce that, because when I'm writing this class is too big. This class is free to membership. And so members, don't worry about it that are on here. They know that. So let me go to tip number 2. But before I go to tip number 2, remember, if you're just joining me, magic is the key word to get your free PDF. And if you like what I'm saying, share it. I really appreciate it. Or give me the likes and the loves, the likes and love. Somebody please write Facebook and tell me to give them stars. Okay. Memorizing definitions. How many of you struggle with memorizing definitions? How many books do you think are written about the tarot cards, especially the Rider-Waite, Riderwaite, which is like one of the first decks. It's not one of the first decks because we don't really know where the first deck came from. We think it came from Italy. It was a card game. This is considered the trump cards. It's hard to know exactly where they came. Some people may say they didn't. When I studied with the president of the Tarot Association, they said they don't know. How many of you get stuck on, oh my goodness, if I don't have the definitions right, I'm going to read the cards wrong. And then it's just going to screw me up forever. How many of you do that? Give me the likes, the loves, and tell me if you do that. And thanks for the stars, Jody. So thank you, Cindy. Cindy says Marilyn's classes are epic. Thanks. Epic and with no fluff. Totally. Yeah. So how many times do you get stuck on the definitions of the cards? The thing is that there are definite symbols in the cards that are fun to learn. They're definitely great to learn. But here's the thing. What you feel, let's do this right now. Let's all look at the Magician card. Okay? And let's all look. I'm going to pick a pretty prominent symbol. Let's all look at the infinity symbol above his head. And everybody down below, write what infinity means to you. Write what infinity means to you. So you see the infinity symbol above his head. Write what the infinity symbol means to you, and write also why you think it's above his head. So let's just do this right now. Okay, and I'm going to wait your answer. Rushan, I'm going to answer your question about reverse cards. I'm going to be discussing that in my class, but basically that's a personal choice. Every card, which is going to be in my thing, I don't think it's on this tips, has a negative or positive, whether it's upright or reverse. And that's a whole discussion that I can't get into in these tips right now. But I personally don't read them upside down. I don't read reverse cards, but there's nothing wrong with reverse cards. It just means that the energy of that particular cards needs to be activated inside of you. All right, so let's see what people said with that. Nancy says forever. Tony says never ending. Tammy says never ending flow with spirit because it's above his head. Patty says always able to tap into. Julia says forever. Cindy says intertwined above because mind and body. Infinity equals forever. Catherine says never ending. It's over his head because he will never die. Love that. Jody says for eternity, forever, last, no end. Angela says never ending has a new beginning. Okay. So how many of you needed a book to look that up right now? Tell me right now, how many of you needed a book to pull out that symbol right here and know what that symbol meant for you? So give me the likes and the loves on that and tell me, no, Marilyn, I didn't need a book. Because why? It's based on my personal experience of life and my personal knowledge. That's why. I want you to communicate with the cards as an extension to you. I want you to stop even giving the power to the cards, which is going to take us to the next tip. Angela says, I didn't. Cindy said, just needed spirit. Okay. Patty said, no book. See? So for the fun of it, I'm going to do one more just because you guys are such an incredible crowd. So I want to do one more. And remember, if you're just joining, and I have to say this stuff because people join, write magic if you want the PDF that we have that goes with this, which is about the magician card. It's based on one of my classes that's not for sale anymore. And share if you like it. All right. This is going to be an interesting one. So let's see. What do you think the red cloak means in this card? What do you think the red cloak means in this card? So write that down below. And relate it to yourself. Like, why do you think I'm pulling out the red cloak today? We're all in a soul grouping, so it doesn't matter. What do you think the red cloak? Like, why is he wearing a red cloak? What does it mean? So write that down. What does the red cloak mean in this card? I can't express enough. Like, I studied the cards and I did learn the symbolism. But what's interesting now is I revisit the material and I throw out all my notes because of that darn Marie Kondo woman who tells you to throw everything out. Like, don't even want to go there. But I have tons of books. And in my tarot class, I'm going to give you my book resource list. And I've been revisiting the symbols and I'm like, my goodness, I forgot that that was the symbol that I was taught. It means something else completely to me. And it's going to mean something else in phases of your life because a red cloak today is going to mean something different a year from now because you may have some experience built from today's experience. So red cloak for me, it's about the first chakra. He's grounded in the first chakra. He's grounded in the energy of his magic. He knows about his magic. He knows the passion of his magic, right? So now that I have that understanding of the card, that gets built on in my wisdom of my life. Do you see how it's evolving? And I teach all of this in my tarot class. I can't teach this on the Facebook Lives because it's very intricate. So let's see what you guys said. So Donna said base chakra. Someone just, oh, I'm sorry, honey. I've been through that. Don't worry about it. Put the red cloak around you and feel safety and put the angels around you and don't tap into the negative energy of that. Vera says strong roots. Sandra says red cloak wrapped in passion, rooted in first chakra. A lot of us have the first chakra information, which is great. So you didn't need a book. Barbara says he looks very powerful and knowledgeable wearing red. Paula says power and regal, right? So this is great. So you want to know what the card means to you. I'm going to take one more. Jody says invisible cloak, master of wisdom. Again, did you need a book? Right? No book. Did you need a book? Hit the likes and the loves. Which brings me to tip number 3. I got to take a breath with this one. I got to read what I wrote because, it is long. So there are so many books written on the tarot. So many books written on the tarot. And those books, from my experience, are based on people's knowledge and study. So there's books on Jungian. How's tarot related to Jungian? There's books written on Buddhism. How's the tarot related to Buddhism or Kabbalah or any esoteric type of energy out there, religion out there, cultures out there? How is tarot based on an Italian culture? How did tarot get created by, especially this one, Pamela, can't remember her last name right now. How did tarot get created? So all these books have different people's perspectives at their moment in time when they wrote it. But here's the thing. Our consciousness is changing. Our world is evolving. Our knowledge is evolving. Our understanding of why we're here is evolving. Why wouldn't the information in the cards evolve too, right? So the books can really mess you up. If you're so like, oh my goodness, I've got to get it right. What did that book say about the red roses? You're disengaging from your intuitive self. You might as well just give it up. My beauty of me learning how to read tarot, I learned in such a formulaic way that it cut me off from the cards. And I knew it. I was like, okay, I can't read Rider-Waite. I had to go to other decks, which Susan says she reads the oracle cards because there's less room for error. Susan said, I read the oracle cards because there's less room. There's no error here. Susan, it's totally great. Like, I'm happy that you do that, sweetie. So just know that I'm never putting you down about that. I'm using you as an example. But there isn't an error in here either. Stop cutting yourself off from it because you think that someone else has a higher wisdom about the cards than you. It's great to study it. When I do the tarot class, as I'm writing it, I'm teaching certain prominent symbols. But I want you to grow with those symbols, right? So in this card, he traditionally has all the suits. He's got the wand, the cups, the pentacles, and the swords. The magician card is known to have everything he needs. He has got all the symbols of the tarot deck in this card. Now, I know that, but I can go further along. Like if I look at the sword right now, the sword is telling me to cut through old beliefs, old thought systems, old expressions, old story. And I know exactly why Spirit's telling me that right now, because I'm entering into a whole new expansion and old story is trying to limit me and I'm not allowing it. So Spirit's saying, take that sword, Marilyn, and cut it out of your life. So that's where you get to use your own personal experience from what you know. So let me ask you a question. It's an important question. Are we evolving as humans? Answer yes. Are we evolving? You don't have to answer yes if you don't think so. Are we evolving as humans? That's what I want to know. And I want to see what your answers are. Okay, so I'm going to give it a sec. Nancy, this is great, and this is why it's great you're in membership, and you're going to learn how to do this in Membership for Your Soul through this class. It's such a great example and tool in what you said, because the way we limit ourselves in reading our cards, we're limiting ourselves in our life as well. So we want the cards to be an extension of our own belief system, our own expression. So everybody's agreeing that so we'll go further with that, Nancy, when you study it. Yes, yes, every day. Yes, evolving as spiritual beings. So if we're evolving as spiritual beings, this is what I really want to know from all of you. And tell me truthfully, do you think our understanding of the cards is evolving also? Do you think our understanding of the cards is evolving also? Now, I already said my opinion, but what do you think? Tell me. Let me know about that. It takes a little while. Laura, you're welcome. Thank you, Laura. Nancy says yes. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Barbara. And I'd love to know what you mean, because I always love to get, I don't want to just get the yeses. I want to know what people struggle with and understanding, because I want to try to work with that in my way. Yes, light human beings. Yes, very much. And I also don't know if you're referring to something else. Yes. So let me ask you this. If we're evolving and the cards are evolving, can't our understanding of the cards evolve too? Could you possibly be someone who's going to maybe write a new book about tarot and what it means? Is there a possibility there for you to do that if you really love tarot? So think about that, guys. Get out of limited dreaming. I went into a meditation with my guides this week, and they said to me, our dreams limit us. And think about that. How could our dreams limit us? But they're right. We sometimes dreamed with such a narrow perspective because that's all our life experience allows us to dream with, right? And they said you have to be careful of your dreams limiting your expansion in life. You have to allow your dream to live like a living, breathing, vibrational thing, and then evolve in your life with that dream and take the next step. So we don't want to limit ourselves in anything we do. All right. Tip number 4, big friggin' tip. Ready for this one? Tell me if you're ready for it. For those of you who are just joining, I have a PDF, magic. I also have a great class on tarot. Whoops. And if you go to MarilynAloria.com, tarot, you're going to get into this great class. And it's not, right now it's priced at $97. It is going to go up because I'm writing the class and I'm like, whoa, this is like a great class. So you may want to jump on now. I don't know when it's going up, so I'm not trying to do a scarcity thing. Anyway, number 4, disempowering questions. This is making me insane. Okay. And when you give all the power to the cards or you give power to other people by asking disempowering questions, you're giving your power away completely. So what do I mean by this? Instead of asking, and I saw this on one of my Facebook Lives, somebody asked, will I get married? I wanted to reach through there and go, do you want to get married? If you want to get married, why are you asking, will I get married? Why are you giving the power to someone else to tell you yes or no? What would happen? Somebody came in and said, nope, you're not getting married. And that broke your heart. They're limiting your life potential. I had somebody come in here for a reading because he was told that by 38, he was going to die by a reader. Now, I didn't know this when I was reading him, and all this beautiful stuff came out, and he shared it with me at the end. And I was like horrified. Could you imagine this guy walked around with this for 15 years? Now, maybe there was something in that. Now, I don't know if the woman was trying to get him to buy $1,000, $1,500 worth of candles. He didn't tell me that. But there might be some information in there that says you're on a path that could be self-destructive. Make sure that when you're 38, that you're just really taking care of your body, mind, and soul. But who are you? Like, I've had health stuff come up, but I'm able to direct people to healing. You know? So don't ask disempowering questions. Will I get married? Will I find a relationship? Will I get this job? Instead, ask, what do I need to do to open up? Come from the place of, yeah, I want to get married. What do I need to open up to marriage? What do I need to do to find my soulmate? What do I need to heal to open up to marriage? If you want a job, will I get this job? What do I need to do to maybe go a step further to let them know that I'm perfect for this job? What do I need to do with myself right now to believe that I can get this job? Where do I need to go to maybe study more about this job? Who do I need to talk to? Do you see how that's empowering? Tell me if you understand how to change disempowering questions to empowering questions right now. That's what I want to know. And I'm going to read this while you guys do that. Yeah, that was it. So I want to know what you feel about that. And if you're liking and loving this, let me know. And if you're liking and loving this information, share it as well. Patty, I did too. I think we're all guilty of going into a reader and saying, is this going to happen? You know? And I also realized I went into readers that were very like, this is it and that's it. And that's when I stopped asking those questions. I was like, wow, I walked out of those readings like devastated and then having to reverse everything that they said and having to work on it. Instead of saying to me, what would have been more appropriate in a reading like that is right now where you're not holding marriage, you're a little shut down to it, you're closed off. If you keep continuing on this path, you're going to have difficulty. This is what I suggest you do. And for those of you who want to be readers, this is the way you want to read. It's not like you want to fluff them up or blow smoke up their butt. Like my guides say, we ain't blowing smoke up your butt. But you want to give them possibilities. You want to give them ways to study, to grow, to expand. You don't want to limit their life. I get furious about this stuff. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about it. All right. Cindy has got the hearts. Nancy says yes. Patty, I understand that. A lot of our source of limitation is from teachers and parents and people. Catherine says, let me see what it says. Yes, I get it about disempowering questions. Yes, no, Biz. I used to do myself until I realized I was manipulating the answer. That taught me don't. Great. I almost hit end broadcast. Oh, thank God. This is a great way of the way to like continue to grow and not manipulate the answer as well. Because a lot of us want yes, no answers, and the aces in the deck can usually be yes, no. And there's nothing wrong with yes, no. But when you ask, this was something I asked the same question all the time. You've got to change that up because you're not getting the answer. And the reason why you're not getting the answer is because you're not changing. You're staying stuck. So if you're asking, will I get married? And you're just getting the same information, go out in nature. You got to go out in nature. Or you got to ask spirit, why do I have to go out in nature? What about me is stunted right now? Where am I stuck? Where am I blocked? So that's what you have to do. Okay. And it sounds to me, let me make sure, check in with people. So yeah, it seems like you do understand that. All right. Tip number 5. I had this with a member yesterday. And this goes back to Rashawn's question about reverse cards. And this is my issue with astrology. Now, I know many of you love astrology, and I'm not putting down astrology at all, because I know I've had an astrologer, and I'm going to have him back on membership. I brought an astrologer onto membership because just because I don't like it doesn't mean my members should not experience stuff out there that I don't engage in. I don't believe in that. I believe introduce them to everything, as long as the person doesn't come from ego. That's my biggest thing when I interview expert speakers to come on. So I had this astrologer on, Benjamin, can't remember his last name right now, really nice man, liked him a lot, the shamanic astrologer. And, but it's not my thing. And the reason why it's not my thing, and I just had this experience, I was getting my nails done and I was reading one of those trashy celebrity magazines, and I looked at the horoscope and it said, you're going to go through some financial stuff, March, blah, 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 blah. And that was in my friggin' head. And I was negotiating the deal with my house, doing hardcore negotiations. And that friggin' thing was in my head. And I can tell you, I think I allowed that to affect me a tiny bit. My guides were saying, don't worry, da, 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 da. And I allowed that thought to affect me a little bit. That's why I don't listen about Mercury retrograde. I don't get into any of that. That's me, right? So I think that I know when I've talked to astrologers, people that follow astrology, and they talk about Mercury retrograde, and the beautiful Angela, the healer who came over on Sunday, she was talking to me a bit about it and the way that she understood it. There's a positive spin. There's a way that doesn't get you stuck in the of it. And it allows you to prepare you. A lot of people have told me they love astrology because they said they know what's about to come and they know how to prepare themselves for it. They know how to grow through it. I think that's great. But when you get into things like, oh my goodness, give me a second. I got the Tower card, or I have the Devil card, or the Death card that people are afraid of. Oh my goodness, it's all doom and gloom. That's it. Oh my goodness, I got to go hide in my bed. No. Every card has a positive and negative, for the lack of a better word, understanding, no matter what the card is, right? And I choose to read things with more of a positive spin because it motivates me. So when I was studying tarot with the tarot teacher, she had kind of a dismal type of energy. She was very mean, actually. She was a very mean woman. But she was a very good, smart woman, very, very smart. And she knew her tarot. So I really feel blessed to have learned from her. And I don't choose to read that way. So if the Devil card came up for me in a reading, right, there's definitely aspects of it that the person would have to know about, like being chained to materialism. They're worried about materialistic value. The card is known to have chains on the neck where you can lift them off, but for some reason that person may be stuck on a value of a job. They're staying in the job because they're making money, yet it's sucking their soul out. What would be the positive aspect of the Devil would be that the chains are loose and you can pull it off. You don't need to be trapped in there. So I feel like you've got to allow yourself. What I said to a member yesterday was, she was like, and don't give me just a positive answer. And I was like, why not? Why are you so opposed to looking at things in a positive way? Of course, she didn't say it like that. The thing for me is that motivates me. If negative things motivate you, go for it. It does not motivate me. It shuts me down. It makes me want to hide, and it makes me not want to go forward. So those are the tips. Tell me how you like them. And I'll go through them again really quick and repeat them. And for those of you just joining me, my nose is so itchy. Magic. If you write magic, you're going to go into my bot and get a free gift of the magician card. And if you share this video, I come back on and give you love. And if you give me likes and loves, I just love you more. And if you want to join my tarot class, which is starting next Monday, and it's not live, so don't worry about it. It's pre-recorded. So you're going to be able to just open a door and start studying it. And it's very comprehensive. It's video, audio, and we have PDFs. It's a really comprehensive class. It's an incredible class. You're really going to gain a lot of wisdom on how to read these cards as an extension of your soul, an extension of your heart, an extension of your infinite wisdom and who you are. So I'm going to let Micah out. I knew the cat was going to do that once I let the dog out, so I had to open the door again. So if you want to learn about tarot, definitely do it. I am going to put the price up in a couple of weeks. I haven't decided, but so it's $97 now. Okay, so the tips. And remember, I'm on next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I don't know what the topic is yet. I will let you know. So the 5 tips were: stop giving your power away. So that means don't even give your power away to the cards. Let the cards be an extension to you. Don't give the power away. Devil card comes up. Work with it. Co-create with the deck. Co-create the magic in your life with the deck. Don't be like, oh! Don't do that. Trust me. Okay, number 2, don't worry about memorizing definitions. We practiced on this live. Let it talk to you. Let it speak to you. You know, look at the cards and pick one symbol. Pick a card a day. And just look at one symbol. And just this card's been coming up a lot for me in my head. I don't need to see the cards anymore. They show up in my head. And Temperance has been showing up a lot for me. I love this card actually right now. And they're reminding me to balance. I'm in a very big transition in my life, transformation. And I refuse to make it crazy. So it's been a really great reminder from Spirit, like, breathe now. Take a break. So I love this card. So pick one symbol and work with it for the day. Don't work with the whole card. Tip number 3, you can't get it wrong. Even though the books say, if you don't read it this way, can't get it wrong. We're evolving as humans. The cards to me are live. Books to me are live. We could go back and read a Wayne Dyer book today, and it'll have a different consciousness and understanding for us today than it had when he wrote it 10 years ago. I didn't really read Wayne Dyer's stuff back then. And now when I'm reading it, there's a whole different, and I did read it a bit and I even saw him speak, but it wasn't, that whole situation wasn't for me. Now when I read it and I could feel his spirit, it has a whole different meaning for me. I feel him around me. You know, I felt him around me when he passed. A lot of people have said that. And I feel his books are elevating, like his teachings, and he wants us to teach further. So it's just like there's so much evolution that's in front of us. Don't stop yourself. Tip number 3, so don't worry about the books. Tip number 4, don't ask disempowering questions. Really get, and you might be like, Marilyn, I don't know how to do that without you. Do it. Just play with it. Just start playing with it. If a question is, should I get married? Instead, ask yourself, what can I do to open myself up to this? That's all you have to do with every question. Will I get this job? What can I do to open up to this job? It's that simple. And 5, look for the positive. You're going to go so much further when you look for the positive. All right, guys. So I'm Marilyn Aloria, psychic medium, teacher, and coach. I teach people around the world how to use their psychic gifts so they can create the life that they're dreaming of and make it a reality. So I really do hope that you love. I'm going to check in with you guys now because I haven't checked in with you much this time because I wanted to make this a very, very, very concise thing. And remember something, you could tell I'm like creating a platform. I am the medium that believes in empowering you. I don't want you feeling like you need me. I am the medium that is empowering you to do it for yourself. All right, so let's just see what's on here. We'll check in. Thank you, Sue. Nancy, you're welcome. Let me see what this says. Whoops, that was Nancy. It goes so fast. Donna, it's all the same thing. How about a topic of on listening to the angels versus guides versus higher self with the cards? To me, it's all a pathway to the same thing. The fact that I studied dream work and studied tarot, when I opened up the channel, I channeled like that. So for me, all of it, if like for those of you who don't read tarot and you read angel cards, the way I'm going to be teaching this, you apply it. You can apply it to the animal cards. The only thing that gets tricky with the animal cards or with decks that don't have the 22 major arcana and the 56 minor arcana. So it gets a little tricky then, but the way that I'm going to teach you how to read the cards from life experience and communicate with your guides and spirits is the way that I teach. So to me, it's a universal language, and I'm just using tools to teach you how to do it. So it's a great question, sweetie. Thank you. I know you're a reader. I'm glad. Marcy says, you make me think about a lot of things when you're live. Thank you for clearing my mind. You make a lot of sense. So anybody else who has any kind of questions about the material, I'm on for a few more minutes. Let me know. This is great. Look at this. Barbara says, the devil card came up when I asked the question of the day. My only focus was his right hand. Love that. That's a part of clairvoyancy when they take you only to one thing. And they just want to communicate that one thing. It looked to me like live long and prosper, which is Jewish and Vulcan blessing. I took it to mean my question was being answered, that I'm blessed in regard to my question. It was a wonderful card that day to pick. I love it. That is beautiful, Barbara. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, let me see. You're welcome. You're welcome, Angela. I just want to see if any of you have questions. Thank you. I know, Cindy, I can't wait for this class. We're going to have a lot of fun and membership for your soul when we do this. Yeah, see, Sue's in membership too. Sounds awesome. I love that. So if none of you have any questions, love this, Sue. Sue's part of membership. Pick them up and mess with them a lot, shuffling, holding them, just looking at the images and see what comes in. I'm empowering them with my energies. Exactly. That just like my members know when I teach communicating with your guides, like so many people bow down to their guides. When I bow down to my guides, this always gets me. They bow down to me. When I said thank you to them, they said thank you to me. Because what we have such a limited understanding, and they want us to stop that. We're helping them as much as they're helping us. It's a co-creation. They're doing this to me a lot because we're in such co-creation right now with my life. And I'm trying to find a symbol that, because they taught me a long time ago, lean into us, lean into us, lean into us. And now they're teaching me a symbol of what that means, because that's probably going to be my next tattoo. And they co-create with us. So sometimes people wonder why they're not directing us or telling us what to do. Well, it's because our soul needs to evolve into something. They're not here as our puppeteer. You know, we're not a puppet on their little strings. They're here to work with us, to walk with us. Jesus is here to work with us, for us to walk with him. You know, whoever you revere, that's what it's about. And they revere us too. So the cards, everything that I teach is an extension of the infinite wisdom that you were born with, that already lives inside of you. So I just want to reiterate that. Let me see if there's any questions. Angela, I cover this in the class, but what you should keep your cards in is either a cloth. You can keep them in a pouch. I used to keep them in a cloth in a wooden box. You can keep them in a wooden box. To me, putting the cards by themselves in a wooden box wasn't enough for me. I had to keep them in a cloth in a wooden box. Okay. All right. Seems like you're all good to go. Thank you, Wendy. So if you like this video, definitely share it with your friends. You can definitely tell me topics that you're interested in and rewatch this, because there's always stuff on there that you'll learn again. And I'm Marilyn Aloria, and I will talk to you next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you so much, guys. And if you're interested in joining the class, go to marilynaloria.com/. / whatever you friggin' call that thing, tarot, and join the class. And you'll have two options. You can join for $97, get the class on your own. There's doesn't matter where you are in the world, you get the class. It's not a live class. There are live components. If you join for $94, you're going to get into expertise conversations and Q&A, and you're going to be able to do accountability with it. So the $94 option, which is the cheaper option, is going to put you into membership for your soul that you can cancel anytime. And it puts you into membership of your soul for the 2 months of the class, and it's going to keep you accountable. And you can see my members on here. It's a phenomenal place to be. So if you're interested in that class, definitely do it. And magic if you want your free gift, because it's all magic. All right, guys. Love you. Thank you so much. Bye.